Hello everyone, so today we from group 7 will be presenting to you about hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Our presentation includes posterior pituitary, anterior pituitary, hormones affecting and hormones that are not affecting other glands.
Hypothalamus is the most important center for homeostasis in the human body. Although it is a small region of the brain, it controls many body functions such as hunger, thirst, body temperature, and also hormone secretion. The pituitary gland is a pea-sized gland. It is located at the center of the skull, inferior to the hypothalamus of the brain, and posterior to the bridge of the nose. It is important link between the nervous and endocrine system. The pituitary gland releases many hormones which affect growth, sexual development, metabolism, and also human reproduction. The pituitary gland, also called as hypophysis, is connected to the hypothalamus of the brain by nervous tissue. It sits within a small cavity in the sphenoid bone known as hypophyseal fossa. Also, the sphenoid bone surrounds and protects the pituitary gland from the external damage. The pituitary gland has previously been considered to be a single structure of the body, but further study of its structure has revealed that it is made of two different functions and structure. The first one is posterior pituitary gland or neurohypophysis. It is an extension of the nervous tissue from the hypothalamus that stores and releases the hormone that produced in the hypothalamus. The second one is the anterior pituitary gland or adenohypophysis. It is a true hormone producing gland and it is made of granular epithelium.
Okay, let's get started with posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary is a neuron in the hypothalamus that produce hormone. There are two hormone producers, which is antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. So first we start with antidiuretic hormone or ADH. ADH function is to cause the kidney to reabsorb water in the blood. Okay, there are certain neurons in the hypothalamus that are water salt balance. They are sensitive to water salt balance of the blood. When this cell detects that the blood is too concentrated, ADH is released from the posterior pituitary. Now, when this hormone is reach the kidney, the ADH will cause the water in the blood to reabsorb. As the blood become more diluted, ADH is no longer released. So this situation we can call that the secretion of ADH is controlled by the negative feedback, which is the effect of the hormone shut down the release of the hormone. So negative feedback is there to maintain stable condition and homeostasis. Okay, next we move on to oxytocin. Oxytocin is the other hormone which is made in the hypothalamus. Oxytocin cause the uterine to contract during childbirth and make letdown where a baby is nursing. The more the uterus contract during the labor, the more the hypothalamus secretes oxytocin. So this is similar to the more the baby suckles, the more oxytocin is released. Okay, from this situation we can conclude that the secretion of oxytocin is controlled by the positive feedback, which the stimulus continue to bring about an effect that ever increase in intensity. Okay, oxytocin may also play a role in the propulsion of semen through male reproductive tract and also may affect feeling of sexual satisfaction and emotional bonding.
Moving on, let's look at anterior pituitary. There is a portal system that lies between the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary is controlled by the hypothalamus to produce two types of hormones, which are hypothalamic releasing hormones and hypothalamic inhibiting hormones. The production of hormones by the anterior pituitary. The first step is neurosecretory cells will produce hypothalamic releasing and hypothalamic inhibiting hormones. These hormones are secreted into a portal system. Then, each type of hypothalamic hormone will either stimulate or inhibit the production and secretion of anterior pituitary hormone. Then, the anterior pituitary will secrete its hormone into the bloodstream and delivers them to either specific cells, tissues, or glands. There are several types of hormones that affect other glands. The first type of hormone is thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH. It is also known as thyrotrophin. Thyrotrophin stimulates the thyroid to produce thyroxine T4 and triiodothyronine T3. The function of T4 is it is responsible for your mood, metabolism, and core temperature, whereas T3 is responsible for the metabolic function and bone development. The next hormone is adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. ACTH will stimulate the production and the release of cortisol by the adrenal cortex. The function of cortisol is to regulate blood sugar, maintain blood pressure, and respond to stress. The third hormone is gonadotropic hormones, or also known as gonadotropins. Gonadotropins will stimulate the gonads, which are testes in males and ovaries in female, to produce gametes and sex hormones. Gonadotropins include luteinizing hormone LH and follicle-stimulating hormone FSH. Now let's look at the negative feedback mechanisms in endocrine system. Let's take the regulation of TSH as an example. So when the level of thyroid hormone is low, the hypothalamus will produce thyrotrophin, which is a releasing hormone, and this will stimulate the pituitary gland to release TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone. Then TSH will stimulate the thyroid gland to produce more thyroid hormone, which are T3 and T4. As the level of thyroid hormone increase, it will be detected by the pituitary gland and hypothalamus because both of the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary are sensitive to the levels of thyroid hormone. The increased level of thyroid hormone will inhibit the release of thyrotrophin by the hypothalamus. If there is low thyrotrophin released by the hypothalamus, so the level of TSH released by the anterior pituitary will also decrease, hence decreasing the level of thyroid hormone released by the thyroid gland.
Next, we proceed to the hormones from the anterior pituitary that are not affecting other glands. Actually, there are three types of hormone on this section. The first one is the prolactin, or also known as the PRL. The word pro actually means as before, while the lactis is actually mean as milk. This hormone, PRL hormone, is produced in quantity only after childbirth. It causes the mammary gland in the mother breast to develop and produce milk for the newborn. This prolactin hormone plays an important role in carbohydrate and fat metabolism. The second hormone is the melanocyte-stimulating hormone, or also known as the MSH. The word melanos actually means as black, while the chitos actually means as cell. This hormone would cause the skin color changes in many fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, or also known as the animal that have melanophore. This melanophore is actually a skin type that produces color variation. However, this MSH or the melanocyte-stimulating hormone concentration in human is very low. Last but not least is the growth hormone, or also known as the TH. Some people also call this growth hormone as the somatotrophic hormone. As the name suggests, this hormone will promote the skeletal and muscular growth It also increases the rate at which the amino acids enter the cells and where the protein synthesis occurs. This GH hormone also promotes the fat metabolism, opposes glucose metabolism while producing the greatest amount during the childhood and adolescent stage of humans. There are three situations for this growth hormone. The first situation is if little GH is produced during childhood. There are several causes of this situation. The first one is the pituitary dwarfism, where the kid will have a normal proportion but small stature. This kid will have a normal BMI, which is he would have a height which is suitable for his weight, but this kid would be smaller than other kids his age. The second cause is the hypoglycemia, which is also known as the low blood sugar, because the GH normally helps to oppose the effect of insulin on the glucose uptake. However, through the administration of GH, this growth pattern can be restored and the blood sugar level can be alleviated. The second situation is if too much GH is secreted during childhood. For when this happens, the kid will become a giant that has poor health. This is actually due to the elevated GH that cancels out the effect of insulin while promoting the diabetes mellitus. Last but not least is when GH is overproduced in adults. When this GH is overproduced in adults, acromegaly will occur. As we already know, long bone growth is not possible in humans. Hence, only the feet, hands, and the face, especially the chin, the nose, the eyebrow regions could respond. When this adult have the overproduced GH, the portion of the adult's body will become overly large. Thank you. That's all from us.